Hey everybody, I'm on for the midweek message reveal and it is September 3rd. Yep. It doesn't feel like September. It doesn't feel like the year is just rapidly um, running away from us, it seems. Energetically, we've got a shit ton of stuff going on, per usual. Lots of Schumann resonance spikes, which is causing a lot of difficulty in the body, which can be characterized as, a lot happening in the jaw, tension, some weird dreams, a lot happening in the body, in the belly, feelings of being constricted and then at sometimes agitated, and then a release where there's a lot of fatigue. A lot of this isn't just energetic. A lot of this has to do with what we are currently experiencing in the collective. And all of us are experiencing what I like to call the squeeze. Now, we are in the midst of eclipse season opening here with the North Node in Pisces, which will have a total full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces on the 7th. Roughly around 2:10 p.m. Eastern is when the eclipse itself will occur. Now, what that is going to bring, as eclipse seasons typically do and eclipses do, when we're dealing with moons, we're dealing with the emotions, and we're going to experience this through a letting go of what it is that we have kind of started in the process weeks or even years ago. And these are some things that are ending and coming to a close. Eclipses bring about what's called a tower moment. If you are familiar with tarot, the tower card itself, where structures need to fall in order for something to be rebuilt. There's not much that can be done when you're experiencing a tower moment. What is needed here is faith. And that is the message that's coming through with the Pisces energy. Now, Pisces being a water sign, also being the close of the zodiac, is another way that we are seeing a close and an ending of a cycle. These things are ending for our highest good, even though they may not seem that great. It may not feel great. It's going to make you feel kind of in your feels, literally, about it. Pisces energy is going to kind of ring that out. So this will bring up feelings around grief, past and present, especially regarding some of the things that we're closing that has happened weeks or years ago, months or years ago. And this feeling of closure, while it seems abrupt, will bring about an opportunity for a new beginning. When we're dealing with our North Nodes, we're dealing with walking fate and destiny alongside us. So a lot of this is outside of our control. Trying to control things will just make it more difficult. And the goal is to get to a state of acceptance. Can you see from your past experiences where things have appeared to fall apart and have almost needed to, and you maybe weren't able to see the why or understand that it was a good thing when it felt like something that wasn't good? Now, that's not to say that everyone needs to be on their, pins and needles and on their tiptoes worrying about things crumbling and falling apart. What it should do is give you an opportunity to feel a bit more aware of what's going on around you, understanding that people around you are also experiencing their own closures and endings, that there's a feeling of grief that's coming up across the collective that's also coming across personally and interpersonally. And this will, in a sense, strain relationships and communication to a degree. Now, Jupiter, though, is exalted in Pisces, and this energy coming forward is actually, in a sense, dare I say, lucky. There's going to be a moment where the clarity will come from this uncomfortable situation, and there's a need to understand that the closing of a cycle is going to require some additional grounding within the body. Pisces is the dreamer, very much detached at times and can be almost floating off into a void space, where the South Node in Virgo is much more grounded, looking to bring something down into a stable situation. And we can trust, with faith, that we will be tethered here and won't float away with our feelings. Now, this kind of goes against head and heart, where there's a desire for the desires themselves to be expressed, where the brain is saying, the head is saying, I don't know how we're going to do this. I want to know the how. I want to figure this out. That desire, that push-pull energy is going to be a little bit of a difficult to reconcile within ourselves. So give yourself some space around that and things that are coming up. Understand that feeling how you feel is valid and important. Being able to sit with it and accept it is a skill, and it's one that is coming up for you to be able to practice. And what this sort of push-pull energy is asking is, where is it that we can heal a little better? Where do you need more support? Do you need more support in a physical way? Do you need more support in a mental or emotional way? Do you need more support in a way where you have more of a community around you? Are you seeking that? Are you isolating? Where can you watch yourself? Because you don't want to go off into this void space of drift. And the desire will be there for that to happen. So the energy this week is it's volatile in a sense, but if you understand it from a trust the process perspective, that a lot of us can't help but just go along with, and know that these things that are closing, that have begun years or months ago, are coming to conclusion in order for you to open up something else. Those are nines. Nines have to do with finishing something before something else can begin. And that 9-9 portal that'll be coming up a couple days after the lunar eclipse will be bringing through even more of that energy. Don't lean into the fear here. Lean into the faith. Lean into the knowing and a sense of hope that you've got you, and you're not going to just go drifting off like a balloon without a tether, okay? All right. So I'd like to go ahead and jump into the crystals that we had this week. Both are smoky quartz. Both are energetically clearing crystals. And yet, what I find, what I was really looking to sort of highlight here are the shades in between of what we see as like light and dark. Kind of beautiful beam of sunlight just boom on these guys. All right, so I'm going to start with 1. If you chose 1, there's your beauty. Gorge. Connecting with your energy 1, you're feeling a need to have more protection in your world. And some of this is having you do a lot of, I'm seeing a lot of paperwork. I'm seeing people being consulted. I'm seeing people being called in. There's also a feeling of not knowing if you're doing it correctly, and the answer to that is that you are. The runaround is purposeful. It's to have you take a beat so you can see that no matter what choice you would make or could change, there isn't a wrong decision here. It's almost giving you an opportunity, in some of you, to kind of ruminate a little bit about some things. You don't necessarily need to feed into that energy. A lot of that is very Virgo energy that's wanting things to be just so and very, very much stuck in the details. Allow this to go with the moon that's happening on the weekend, where we are seeing a change in the way that you are understanding circumstances and the possibilities that they can actually change. There's a feeling of stuck energy here with you when 1. There's a feeling of wanting to clarify if you're doing it right. And you know that there is no way to know if you are doing it right. There is no person, entity, corporation, letter from some rando depot in the middle of nowhere that is going to say you did it right and have that be satisfying enough to you. This is having you have to lean on faith and trust, and it's faith and trust within yourself, and it's also faith and trust in being able to let things go and understand that you did the best you could. Now, this eclipse situation season is going to be opening for you a lot of things that you're going to need to manage, not micromanage. The goal is going to be to not get into a state of frenzy over things, to not nitpick things to death, to not have to have all of these lists and checking and phone calls and big conversations around the same things over and over again. When you find yourself falling into those sort of pitfalls, Understand that this is just how the energy is presenting itself within you, and you can do it a different way. It doesn't have to be as difficult as it's been in the past. You can change the way that you respond to things. Yes, some things do require your immediate attention, but there is no do or die. There is no 5-alarm fire. There's none of that is happening. And the brain is saying, but there's no more buts. There's no more shoulds. You've made a decision. You've done the best you can, and you're going to have to just go with it and trust the process. And I know that's hard to hear. And can you lean into the freedom of being released from having to carry that around like an albatross around your neck? Because you, in a sense, are the one imprisoning yourself with your own need to see the steps instead of trusting that the next right thing will fall in line. You've been in a situation like this before. I'm hearing 7 to 8 months past. So this sort of time period is closing for you here, perhaps kicking up some of the same fears that you had back then. Can you look back 6, 7 months to the beginning of the year almost, where you encountered something similar with similar people or similar circumstances or about the same thing that you thought was resolved? That's coming back for review. Forgive yourself for taking a lot of energy and putting it into something that's meant to move along. It's okay. I see you. It's all going to work out. It's up to you how much you want to be dragged with it, by it, because of it. Okay? Acceptance is a whole vibe, man. All right. Moving on to 2. If you chose 2, where's my little sunbeam? Okay, I'll put it over here. Put it in front of my face. The cool thing about this guy, and it may not be able to be picked up here on the camera, is that it's completely solid, almost in this dark, dark brown that looks like it's black, except for this one little teeny tiny piece of the clip of the tip. Okay, 2. Connecting with your energy 2. I'm hearing something about romance and wanting some excitement, but feeling almost too tired to seek things out. And some of this is with relationship with another person. And some of this is also falling back in love with a hobby, with something that you used to do or something that you have always wanted to try in a different way. Some of this is changing. Give me more clarity here. So I'm seeing like almost like when floorboards are laid out, very long pieces of lumber, and there's some that are taking to it with a saw, and there are some that are taking to it with a almost with like one of those, I don't know what they're called, almost like one of those carpentry things that you can kind of whittle and get a strip of wood across, and it becomes a curl. Everyone has a different implement into how they are utilizing this lumber, this wood, this formidable material thing that can be made into something else. Now, are we talking about carpentry? No, this is a metaphor, obviously, but it's a metaphor for whatever's coming to you. You'll be able to have the tools to do with it what you want. And don't judge yourself or other people for how they are utilizing the same material, because they may be doing it differently. Some people are wanting to cut it up and make it into smaller pieces and take it along with them. Others are wanting to share it with someone else in order to lengthen that piece of lumber, or to stack it on top of each other and make it more formidable and work together. Others are painting it, staining it, changing the way it looks. And every single person is not wasting what they've been given. They get to be the ones to decide how this blank canvas gets to become its own thing and viewed in the eye of the beholder that is the person who is creating. So the call here for you too is to get more into a creative space. And when I was speaking originally about romance, some of this has to do with that feeling of falling in love with a task, falling in love with a hobby, or falling in love with the act of actually spending time working on something. So for some of you, this is building up a relationship, fortifying it, supporting it. For others, it's changing the type of tool you might implement onto something new and seeing things in a different way. Where you normally would have been somebody with a hammer and a nail, and now you're wondering if, this would be a beautiful stained piece that you could make into a coffee table. Follow the metaphor. You're allowed to change how you feel, change what you want to do, and do things differently without asking permission. And if you need permission, as some people do and feel better with permission, here's your permission slip. You will make the best use of what it is that you have. You're not somebody that wastes things, which means the time you've put into a situation, a romance, a relationship, effort into a hobby or schooling or something that you've been working on in order to bring forward. For some of you, it's manifestation, things that you're wanting to bring into your experience. The time you've put into it is not wasted. And if you are intrigued by seeing things from a different perspective, you can set down your paintbrush and go pick up a saw. You can change the tools you're using in order to tackle the project in a different way. That doesn't mean that the time you put into it utilizing a paintbrush is going to be squandered. It means you've used this tactic long enough to realize it's something that can be let go of, and maybe you want to expand the way that you think and feel. And that's a beautiful thing. So embrace that. Okay? So that's you guys here in two. I just want to hold these up again because they're just so pretty. And I found my light. There she is. Okay. So those are the messages this week. Would love to hear how they land for you. So please leave me some feedback. Would love to work with you as well. I have a lot of custom options. So please reach out, send me a message. Let's talk about what it is you're wanting to do. And if you are needing support here through eclipse season and are wanting to prepare, if you're wanting to, make some sense of some of the things that you're experiencing or feeling, please reach out. This is what I love to do and support. It's not so much about me sitting here and reading your fortune. I think for those of you who have been with me long enough understand that that's not really how I work. This is more how we get to work together, and I help you make sense of the things that you aren't able to articulate to yourself, your higher self. Because we're human, we're kind of in our own way. Help me help you, let me help you make some clarity around some of the things that you're thinking and feeling and the things that you're wanting to bring in. That is a great use of our time together. Okay? So thank you for being here. Please understand that it's all going to work out. You just don't get to know the how. And some of you don't even get to know the why until much further down the road. But clarity is going to come on some things that you've been wondering about for a minute. And that's okay too. Will you have feelings about this? Yeah. Is it part of the path in order to figure these things out to make you more of a deeper, bigger, more rich, authentic version of yourself to take into the next adventure that's on the horizon? Don't judge yourself for your peaks and valleys. You're still walking, you're still moving, you still got this. Okay? Peace.